Hello and welcome to Live From, the show where we go live to a destination in Asia and report back from there. I'm Sam, I'm the Managing Director of Experience Travel Group, and today we're going to Phuket in Thailand, where my colleague Holly has bravely agreed to report back from. Hey Holly.
Hello from Thailand, Sam, more specifically from Phuket, at a lovely hotel called The Slate.
So Holly, how is Thailand at the moment? How's travel feel to Thailand at the moment?
Yes, Thailand right now is surprisingly normal. I have to say I had a bit of a shock, although I originally came for just a beach holiday, which I'll talk a bit more about later. I ended up going to Bangkok, and I think that was the real surprise in a really good way. So basically I originally was only meant to have a bit of a beach holiday down in the islands, but it rained a few more days than I'd like to, which is very unusual for this time of year. So I thought I'd escape to Bangkok for a few days, and I'm really glad I did, because it was so exciting to be back. I think it's where you really get a sense of being in the country, and it was just so lovely. I met my guide there, managed to organise a street food tour. It was just so fun being able to whiz around on a tuk-tuk and just being in the thick of it all, and seeing different areas of Bangkok once again and feeling like, wow, yeah, I'm back in Asia. I did a cycling tour as well, just around some of the suburbs, which is a really nice way of seeing some of the other parts of the city that I hadn't seen previously. And when I first arrived, I went to one of the temples, to Wat Po, and it was amazing because I was the only person there. There was a few other tourists, but it felt really quiet. And I've certainly been to Bangkok and gone to, say, the Grand Palace, where there's just hundreds of people milling around all of the time. So it felt quite special. It's something that we obviously strive to do with our tours anyway, is work out timings to try and avoid when the crowds will be there. But right now you don't even have to worry about that. You can just sort of stroll up at any point, and it's a really pleasant experience, which is great. It's amazing being in Thailand. Really thrilled that I managed to get out here and experience it. I'm having a lovely time.
And what about Thailand in the current context? I mean, a lot of people wearing masks, obviously, here in the UK, but how does it feel in Thailand?
At the moment, in Thailand, you don't really have to do anything differently other than wear a mask a little bit more regularly. So mask wearing is something that's really common in Asia anyway. With the locals, pre-pandemic, you would have seen a lot of local people walking around wearing a mask anyway. It was something that was within the culture, just to keep germs at bay anyway. So they've sort of always been ahead of the game with that one, to be honest with you. It's just that people are wearing them more regularly. You do have to wear them more regularly, pretty much most places you go, which didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. You just pop a mask on when you're leaving the hotel, and then you can take it off again when you get back or when you're eating dinner. But I really didn't find it to be bothersome.
And how have you been received in Thailand? Have people been pleased to see you as a tourist?
I have been really well received since being here. I mean, in most cases, to be honest with you, it's just felt no difference. No one's taken any more notice of me. But when people have, they've been extremely happy to see me. I think it's felt like a good sign to them, particularly when I've been with my guide and it's been quite obvious that I am a tourist. I think people have been really happy to see that things are coming back, because tourism is such a big economy for Thailand, and so many people do rely on that, which it's been apparent since being here. So I think the fact that it's slowly coming back is a good sign for the people here who hugely rely on it.
And how are the famous Thai beaches, Holly?
Yep, so actually the beaches are far more relaxed as well. So although you have to wear a mask most of the time, you don't have to so much in in and around the beach areas, so you don't have to worry about walking along the beach and needing to wear a mask. It's much more relaxed, and actually Phuket, for instance, has been open for a lot longer. There was something called the Phuket Sandbox, meaning that you could just come to Phuket whilst the rest of the country wasn't open. So they're much more accustomed to having tourists here and are much more set up, so everything just feels sort of way more relaxed anyway here, although it's not really much difference between here and how relaxed it felt in Bangkok either.
And how easy was it to travel to Thailand this time round?
So in order to get to Thailand, it looks more complicated than it actually is. So I was pleasantly surprised once again with how streamlined it was and how easy everything was once I got here. So you have to apply for something called a Thailand pass, which essentially means just uploading the relevant documents in order to get a QR code that you then have to show in order to get into the country. So you just need to upload your proof that you are vaccinated, that you have booked a PCR test before flying, that you have insurance that will cover you in case you were to get COVID whilst you were here. And the final one was also that you have booked your first night on arrival when you get here. So once you've done all of that, you get your Thailand pass, and it's simply all you need to show when you arrive in Thailand, along with all of your other documents which you must have printed. So I'd just say make sure you've got everything printed, and it is extremely efficient when you get to the airport. Everyone was there was a lot of staff there just marked up and checking that everyone had the right things. If you didn't, it wasn't a big problem. There was a desk set up there where you could print anything that you needed, and I think I was out of the airport within 20 minutes of getting my luggage, which included doing the on-arrival PCR test as well, which in Phuket at the airport. I was simply really impressed with how streamlined everything was.
Well, Holly, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. It's brilliant to know that travel is possible, and it's been really inspiring for us all in the office seeing you there. So thank you so much for reporting back. For everyone else, if you enjoyed that and would like to talk about a trip to Thailand, whether it's for this winter or further on in 2022, you know where we are. Just give us a call, and I'm sure Holly herself would be delighted to talk to you. We've got some really exciting holiday offerings in Thailand, not just the famous beaches, but we can really get you off the beaten track, and there's so much of Thailand that really is relatively unexplored by tourism, but it still has those magical Thai ingredients, the really extraordinary hospitality, the beautiful scenery, wildlife, and of course the wonderful food. So we look forward to hearing from you, and we will report soon live from another country. Look out for that. Thanks a lot. Bye.